If you're in the market for a new keyboard, then you got to consider the Logitech MX Keys S. Now I've done the research for you, and this video condenses the vital news and research into a smaller, palatable package. So use this video as a buyer's guide, and if you're seriously interested in one of these, then watch this video first. First, let's have a chat about the key features. It's got spherical keys. Now these rounded keycaps are like the old MX Keys and MX Keys for Mac, which I've got, and your fingertips fit right in the hole, you see. On my MX Keys, it helps you position your fingers a little bit better, but it does get a bit of getting used to. It's got scissor switches. Now these are good because they're quiet and they don't piss anyone else off in the room. They're not very tactile feeling, but they've got plenty of give and not so much travel like on a mechanical keyboard, so it's quite easy to type on. And personally, this geezer likes these switches better than most mechanical keyboards anyway. Smart backlighting. It's got proximity sensors that signal to the keyboard to light up when your hand is near. It's good for saving power basically and not much else. Automation. Now this keyboard's got some automation available in the Logitech software. It's called Smart Actions, and you can set up some common tasks to activate at the push of a button. For example, if you get up each morning, read the news, load up Twitter, or maybe even YouTube on your computer, press one button and it will do it all for you. Ergonomic design. The design is mainly ergonomic because it's a slim profile keyboard, meaning your wrist can sit on a desk or close to it and it'll be more comfortable than raising them up high. The keyboard is angled slightly at the back as standard to get your hands in the ideal position. But take note, this is not adjustable. It's got multi-device support. Now it's got these 3 buttons which mean you can switch devices very easily. So for example, if you've got a MacBook laptop and a PC gaming computer, you can use the same keyboard for both tasks by assigning a device for a specific button. And it does support Mac and Windows, by the way. USB quick charging. Now you can plug your phone charge into it, and USB-C is very compatible with most devices these days. So on a full charge you can get 10 days of battery with the backlighting on and 5 months of battery without the backlighting. It's pretty cushy if you ask me. Connectivity. You got 2 options, and that's Bluetooth or using the proprietary Bolt receiver. The Bolt receiver is Logitech's update to the unifying receiver. This has some drawbacks which I'll explain later. Custom keys. Now it's got 3 or 4 keys in particular: dictate, emoji, mic mute, and snapshot. These can be useful and customizable in the Logitech option software. So here's what reviewers are saying about this product and why it's good. Reviewers like the elegant design. They mostly agree that it's good to type on. Auto brightness is generally well received. Most people agree it's well built and sturdy feeling, and multi-device and OS support is appreciated by the reviewers. Battery life is said to be a plus, and the Smart Actions function is relatively well liked, but not everyone likes that, which I'll come back to later. Here's what reviewers don't like about the product. Now there's minimal improvement over the previous version. It kind of looks the same, which I agree with. Optional wrist rest is thin and not very comfortable. Smart Actions is not smart enough, so it can't do all the automations you want with it. Bolt receiver showed an issue with one reviewer and it lost connection. Key customization is limited to predefined actions in the Logitech software, so if you're a bit of a fusspot, that's no good for you. Now this keyboard doesn't have height adjustment, which won't suit all wrists. One geezer didn't like the fact it was heavy, but I wouldn't say that's bad really, because I'm typing on it. I'm not bloody carrying it, am I? Another geezer didn't like that it didn't have a wired only mode. So if you want to connect it as a wired keyboard and minimize input lag, then you can't do that. You're also unable to keep the backlight on permanently, which people didn't like. Without the backlighting on, the keys are a bit difficult to read as well, especially if you've got the black version. And here's what the real people who bought this product on Amazon are actually saying. Mostly people aren't liking this at the moment, mainly because of the backlighting system and how it doesn't stay on when you want it to. Another geezer didn't like the shortcut keys because certain keys are multiple uses in Windows and Mac. For example, this calculator button doesn't work in Mac, but it does work in Windows, which gets confusing when you've got about 50 bloody keys on the keyboard. Another geezer doesn't like the function keys and the layout. You've got a strangely positioned function lock button on the top left, and there's a lack of a function key on the left hand side of the keyboard. Buyers also think that the keys are a bit difficult to read. And another geezer didn't like the new Bolt receiver because he had an older MX mouse by Logitech which uses the unifying receiver, so he wasn't able to use these 2 devices off the same receiver. Now it means you either got to connect by Bluetooth or you got to get 2 receivers, one for the keyboard and another bespoke one for the mouse. So that's Bob's your uncle. That's been your buyer's guide on the Logitech MX Keys S. If you bought this keyboard, leave your feedback about it below. Bosh.